Am I the a-hole for reporting my brother for child abandonment? Plus update. So I, 25 female, usually work from home and frequently babysit my brother's 31 male and sister-in-law's kids. They have 3 kids, all between the ages of 4 to 7. My brother has a rather demanding job that I won't be revealing here as I don't think he'd want me to, and his wife is a nurse, so frequently they'll need me to babysit for them and usually it's fine. My brother contacted me a few days ago and asked if I could babysit his kids for the upcoming weekend as he and his wife would be 2 states away. Usually I would agree, but I had a trip planned with some friends to go to New York City, clear across the country from us, for a few days. I told him as such, but he got upset and told me that my vacation could wait, because whatever it was he had to go to was work-related and extremely important, and that his wife was away caring for her mother who had a stroke recently. I told him that I wouldn't be canceling my plans as I needed a break from work, and he blew up and started yelling about how I should be tired because I just sit at home all day and don't have any kids. At which point I just hung up on him after telling him no once again. Fast forward to my trip, and I'm hanging at the hotel with my girlfriends, and I check my phone and see a notification from 2 hours ago that there was a movement detected at my front door. I check my camera, and I'm just entirely freaking floored. There on my front porch were his kids, who apparently had been sitting there unsupervised for 2 whole hours. Of course, I flip out and call my brother, and scream at him about this, and ask where the heck he was, and why would he just leave them there when he knew I wouldn't be there. He then freaks out at me because I'm not at home where I was supposed to be. No, I wasn't. I told him I wouldn't be, and tells me that I have left his kids in a dangerous situation because he's 2 cities away from home. Turns out that after I hung up on him, he decided he would call my bluff and drop them off anyway, then he just left without even checking to see if I was even home. Now I'm extremely angry and worried sick about my nieces. So without anyone any of us could call to take care of them, I called the police and informed them of the situation and that there's no one even in the city to take care of them. Then I called my sister-in-law to tell her that I had called the police, and turns out she had no idea wouldn't be there because my brother lied to her. Of course she's furious at him. And my brother is spamming me with texts that I'm going to get his kids taken away and that his wife won't talk to him. Overall, I'm just very angry and just as confused as to what was going on in his head when he decided to just leave 3 kids all under the age of 8 all alone and leave the freaking city. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not a hole. It's unfair to you. Also, couldn't your sister-in-law call to confirm that you would have been home? Your brother risked his children's safety. Nothing here is your fault. I don't really blame my sister-in-law. My brother flat out lied to her, and she had no reason to believe that he would pull a stunt like this, so she believed him. There was no one else to call. My sister-in-law was out of town taking care of her mother. I don't know any of my brother's friends, and all of my friends with the key to my place were with me in New York City. Our parents also don't live in the same state, so they couldn't take them either. It seems odd because this entire situation is bizarre. I can't give you an answer to half of these questions because I don't know what was going on in my idiot brother's head when he pulled the stunt. As for letting them inside, my brother is forgetful and loses his key to my house every damn week. Either that or he left them and drove off so that when I opened my door, which I wasn't going to obviously, I'd have no choice but to babysit them. He knows my front camera alerts me to motions outside my door, so that may be why he doesn't bother ringing the doorbell. As for whether or not anyone else saw them, I don't know. I don't really know any of my neighbors, nor I have spoken to them about this. Not the a-hole. What your brother did was so dangerous, reckless, spiteful, and idiotic. He was playing chicken with you, with his children's welfare. Father of the Year. No way should anyone ever just drop their kids off at a doorstep and leave. I won't even do that for adult friends at their own houses. I always hang around to make sure they get inside. I feel bad for your sister-in-law, that she may also have to deal with any fallout, but your brother absolutely needed a wake-up call from the cops. I would kick my significant other to the curb if he did this, so I could keep my kids. I wouldn't be losing them because he is a horrible parent. Not the a-hole. He asked, you said no, repeatedly. And he called your bluff? These poor kids. I hope brother and sister-in-law have good insurance because the therapy sessions these kids will need to deal with this abandonment will not be cheap. A few hours won't be enough. Think about it. Kids' view. Mommy is at Granny's place because Granny's sick. Mommy's not here for us. Daddy drops us off at Auntie's and drives away. He left us. Auntie doesn't open the door. Does not want us. Again, kids' view. I'm hungry, thirsty, tired, need to go potty. It's cold, hot, dry, wet. I'm frightened. Where's everyone? There is a strange man or woman walking a scary dog. Why is the police here? Where did they take us? Where's mommy, daddy, and auntie? Who is this lady asking us questions? CPS. Who is this lady tucking us in? Foster parent / emergency placement, etc., etc. He fears he will lose the kids, and sister-in-law isn't speaking with him? He deserves it. Heartbreaking. You know what happens when you have an important event and no childcare? You miss the event. You attend remotely or you bring your kids and hope they'll be chill in a corner of the room with tablets, headphones, and snacks. People are ridiculously indulgent toward men who take their kids places. Your brother had choices, and he made a terrible one. Opie, if there was no family in town, I really don't see that you had any other choice. Really, what if you didn't have a high-tech front door camera? Best case scenario, a kind stranger would have called the police. That's the best case scenario, not the a-hole. And now for the update. I couldn't post an update to the original sub, but I realized people were following this account in hopes of an update about the situation. For the sake of my sister's privacy, I won't be going in depth, but the children were okay for anyone wondering. They're currently with my sister-in-law, who is currently staying elsewhere separately from my brother. A lot of people commented on the last post about how my brother's behavior didn't make any sense, and I couldn't really give you an answer because nothing about the situation was sensible to begin with, nor was this normal behavior for my brother. It was entirely out of left field for him, and prior to this, I would have never assumed he would do something like this. He was oftentimes busy with work and so couldn't spend a lot of time with the girls, but when he could, he spent every second with them. He was very caring and conscientious when it came to them. However, it has recently come to light that my brother has been having some sudden onset mental issues and seemed to be in some sort of manic state when this occurred. I don't know if my sister-in-law will continue her marriage to my brother, but we're looking into getting my brother some help and treatment. As of right now, he's in an institution willingly, and when he gets out, we will be there to look after and support him. Thank you all for your well wishes and have a blessed day. Well, I was not expecting that ending at all. My bets were on drugs, affair, or something highly illegal. Didn't see this one coming. Same here. After the RV story, I totally thought it was an affair. One of my friends had a neighbor who would drop off / abandon her kids whenever she felt like a break. Neighbor would literally lower them over the shared back fence. My friend would look out of her patio window and see 2 extra toddlers playing in the backyard. Surprise! This was annoying but manageable when she was home with her own small children, and 2 extra wasn't a massive burden. It was, however, intolerable when she had her kids at daycare so she could work. It was downright dangerous when she went on holidays and the kids were left in a wet wintry garden for a couple of hours before the other neighbor heard them crying and called the police. The neglectful mother was indignant and angry to be charged and moved out shortly afterwards. No one on the street missed her, but those poor kids. Neighbor would literally lower them over the shared back fence. What the actual hell? That's basically illegal border crossing, but house scale. Kinda had a feeling it was probably a mental health thing as soon as she said that her brother had just left the kids on the doorstep. I know that some people are just awful parents, but something didn't really add up. It's good to see that he's getting treatment though. I have a bipolar friend. He's staying on his medication these days, but if he was unmedicated, this is totally something I could see him doing. Basically, any idea he gets in his mind when he's manic is the most amazing idea ever and will totally work out perfectly, and there's no way you can convince him otherwise. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my wife she either starts working or her adult kids pay rent? I've been married to my wife for 5 years. She has 2 kids from her previous marriage. Jason, 22 male, and Carla, 19 female. When we married, my wife still had 50-50 custody of her kids and she wanted to move into my house. I converted the attic into a bedroom so both of her kids and us could have our own rooms. Their father is present in their life, so I was pretty much designated the guy that married their mom, and I'm fine with that. I sorely underestimated how much having 2 teenagers in the house would increase bills. When I was single, I could do my mortgage and bills fine on my own. Post-marriage, everything but the mortgage has gone up, not including spending money for the kids and their extracurriculars. My wife got child support from her ex and some extra help with her expenses, which helped a bit while she had it. But I still had to dip into my savings a lot. It was really important to my wife to be a stay-at-home mom until they graduated. It was tight, but we made it work. Jason moved out after graduating high school to attend college out of state. And when Carla graduated last year, we agreed she could have 1 year to figure if she'd be moving out or applying to nearby schools. Currently, she's not working or in school. A few days ago, I go into the kitchen and my wife was on the phone with Jason and she told him that he was more than welcome to move back in and that she was excited to see him when he got here. After she hung up, I told her that she should have run that by me first so we could discuss it. I wasn't opposed to it, but told her he should know what he'd expected to contribute if he's moving in. She responded that she had always told her kids that they would always be welcomed home whenever they wanted and not have to worry about expenses. I told my wife that was really nice of her, but she made that arrangement with her ex-husband when they were married. She didn't make that arrangement with me. If Jason moved back in, he'd have to pay rent to pitch in with groceries and utilities he'd be using. And it probably should be the same for Carla, so it's not one sibling paying while the other isn't. She said they're her kids and shouldn't have to pay to live at home. So I told her if she felt that strongly about her kids not pitching in now that they're adults, she could go back to work. She's been sleeping in Jason's old room since we're still debating it. And her parents have chimed in with their 2 cents that I shouldn't be making kids pay to live at home. My whole thing is, they're not kids anymore. When they're 40, they'll still be her kids. But that doesn't mean treating them like minors. Especially if it means someone else footing all the bills. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. They absolutely should contribute. The biggest issue here is your wife not having a job though. How is she supporting herself before? She had lived with her parents after their divorce and only worked part-time while they were at school. Her parents are nice, but bend over backward for her since she is the only one of their kids that had kids. Not the a-hole. You are being used, and I think you know that. Your wife is using you as a piggy bank. What exactly does she do all day? She expects to do nothing and have you fund her life? If her parents don't think she or her kids should have to pay anything, they can take her in or send her money for your bills. Until that happens, their opinion is worthless. Stay strong. She does take care of the house during the daytime until I get home and pitch in. She will also babysit for some of her friends to help them save on childcare, but she doesn't get paid to do it, though I think she should be charging them. It was really important to my wife to be a stay-at-home mom until they graduated. Not the a-hole. Your wife clearly does not want to, nor intend to, ever work again. Insisting on being a stay-at-home mom while children are in high school is ridiculous, and they are years beyond graduation at this point. Funny how their father is off the hook for support now, but you are still paying through the nose to support his kids. Yeah, the idea that she wanted to be a stay-at-home mother for high schoolers is ridiculous, especially when the OP needed to dip into his savings to bankroll their lifestyle. She's also setting up a situation where it's going to be increasingly harder for her to earn a decent amount of money. It isn't right, but it's often much harder for people to get hired if they've been out of work for a long period of time. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for questioning why I wasn't invited to a baby shower for a child that I'm carrying? My boyfriend and I have been together for 4 years. We lived separately. He was 30 and lived with his parents. I was 31 and lived with my 6-year-old. We had our baby on September 14th, while the baby shower was sometime in August. His aunt decided to throw a baby shower for him. She said it would be a male's version of a baby shower. Men only, but that was a lie. She invited his mother, her daughter, his cousin, and herself of course, but she said I wasn't allowed to come. If it were men-only baby shower, then why were those women there? Also, that would only make sense if it were a bachelor party. I was carrying the baby, and I wasn't allowed to be there. All my boyfriend said to me was that it was out of his control. I feel like he should have stood up for me and said it didn't sound fair, that it should be a baby shower for the both of us. Every baby shower I had been to always had both parents. Also, I didn't feel like he deserved a party looking like he's the father of the year, because he didn't even show up to many of my baby appointments except for 2 of them. One being when we found out the gender. It was on my birthday, but he had to leave shortly after the appointment because he was spending the day with his mom. On my birthday. Also, they lived together. Another appointment he came to was a 3-hour glucose test, but he spent half that appointment on the phone with his mother. Also, he wasn't there much for me during the pregnancy when I was throwing up or needed help lifting something. I had to do it mostly by myself. Again, we are together. Maybe this would make sense if we weren't together. He tells me that the baby shower wasn't out of spite. that it was supposed to be guys only, with the exception of his mother, aunt, and a cousin. Yet I'm the mother. Not the a-hole and big yikes. I wish you weren't linked to this man for the rest of your life, because he's married to his mom, and you're the other woman. Not the a-hole. Mama's boy alert. You would be the a-hole if you even think that he is your boyfriend. No, he is not. He may be with you at times for whatever reasons, but it is not because he is your boyfriend. His family is his heart, not you. You need to start working with the legal authorities/attorney to get some child support paperwork in order and make sure you get legal custody. I can see his mommy pushing him for custody so she can be mommy to his baby, not you. Your 6-year-old is watching this unfold, learning from you what a true relationship is. So do better. Set better examples for your child. Does he live with you now or still with mommy? You wrote, again, we are together. No. Your words say differently. Your words say you are not. Did your family/friends throw you a baby shower? Did he attend? Did his family attend? Where are all the items from his baby shower? At his mommy's house? You would be the a-hole OP if you don't do what this comment says. You need to legally protect yourself and your baby. He isn't your boyfriend, and is probably only coming over to sleep with you.